On this episode of the Turnbuckle, some jobber named Mercedes Monet or whatever made a Wrestle Kingdom 17 debut. Who cares? There's a film about Antonio Inoki being made, and Tony Khan comments on the current state of the AEW women's division. Folks, we're reading your favorite wrestling news and wrestling... No, you get the point. It's time for the Turnbuckle. Sasha Banks made her debut at NJPW's Wrestle Kingdom 17 event Wednesday morning, laying out Kairi and challenging her to a match for next month in San Jose. After Kairi defeated Tam Nakano to retain the IWGP Women's Championship, Banks came out using the name Mercedes Monet. She had first congratulated Kairi and offered to shake her hand. It was a trap, however, as Banks laid her out. Banks then took a microphone and said that she is here in New Japan and starting to make more history. Called herself the CEO of the women's division. She promised to take the title from Kairi at NJPW Battle in the Valley, which takes place in San Jose on February 18th. I'm just gonna go ahead and say right now that I feel a little bit like about the whole thing. Okay, so it was pretty much telegraphed like from the beginning that she was gonna be at NJPW, and I do like when news comes out like that, and then for the next like 8 years, everyone is like, "Oh, July, this could happen." And my favorite thing is when someone's like, "Oh, this could happen," and then someone like bursts into the room and like, "There's no way that's gonna be even talking about right now. You're talking about it can't even be possible," you know. So there's people who still think that she's probably gonna be the partner for Saraya. At this point, I don't really know. It's hard to tell. I was reading an article earlier and they were saying how like the contracts and when she was actually free versus like, you know, when the whole match was announced and everything was like still up in the air and everything. So it's like it could potentially happen, maybe, but like if it doesn't happen, it's because of like the contractual like timing, I guess, because they were talking about like, oh, she wasn't like a free agent like officially, so like if they did make the match, it would have to be like really, like, you know what I mean? So I don't really know. So again, I said all that to say we don't really know until, you know, she actually shows up. But again, great to see her at Wrestle Kingdom. I can't wait to see what she's gonna do. And listen, all right, here's to the future. Okay, the year just started. The world is her oyster. Next, we're gonna talk about Antonio Inoki and how a film was announced for him just before the start of the main card of New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom 17. A film about NJPW's late founder Antonio Inoki was announced. WWE Hall of Famer Tatsumi Fujinami took to the ring to make the announcement after competing in the 6-man Antonio Inoki Memorial match on the event's pre-show. Inoki passed away a few months ago on October 1st, 2022. The legendary Japanese wrestler had a prolific career, and founding NJPW is only a drop in the ocean of his legacy. Although no details of the film are currently known, there's no shortage of material to go on from Inoki's incredible life. From fighting Muhammad Ali to wrestling Ric Flair in North Korea, details of Inoki's biography can truly sound made up at times. Anyway, it could be cut. A film about Inoki will have a tall order in conveying his legacy and truly incredible number of accolades and accomplishments. The late Japanese icon altered the landscape of wrestling both in and out of Japan for decades to come in 1972 when he left the Japan Wrestling Alliance to found NJPW. From AJ Styles and Kenny Omega to Chris Jericho and Brock Lesnar, many of today's top wrestling stars have some history with NJPW. Recognition of him is apparent just as well stateside. Inoki was inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame as part of the 2010 class. Furthermore, Inoki won the WWF Heavyweight Championship from Bob Backlund in 1979, albeit WWE has never officially recognized Inoki in the title's lineage. Finally, we're going to be talking about Tony Khan and how he comments on the current state of the AEW women's division. In an interview with Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, AEW boss Tony Khan addressed the current state of the women's division, stating he believes it's been building up for a long time, with plenty of exciting things taking shape in the division, especially toward the end of 2022. He also added that the company had put together a loaded roster with both veterans and upcoming stars who are out to make a name for themselves. There are a lot of great stars. We've added big free agents. Saraya, Toni Storm has come in and is one of the most important people in the women's division, he said. Then we have our own homegrown stars, the world champion Jamie Hayter and her best friend, the former world champion Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Hikaru Shida, another former world champion. Jade Cargill also got a lot of attention in 2022, and Khan claims there has been nobody more dominant than the undefeated TBS champion. He's focused on the future of the division, though, teasing that, quote, there's a ton to be excited about in the women's division, and I'm looking forward to even more exciting stuff in 2023. You could argue that a lot of people would agree with that, and you could argue that there are a lot of people out there that still feel as they still need to be like convinced, you know. I feel like I could name a couple of people on my hand now that are like, yeah, whatever, you know. I'm not one of them. I think that it's improving. I think that it's going a lot better than it was. I feel like WWE is doing a way better job than AEW at the moment, and I feel like AEW definitely should have gotten this like straightened out like way sooner. I feel like Tony Khan sort of talking about it now sort of feels like a thing of like, look, we're doing it now, you know, and it's like, okay, but I feel like this type of thing really shouldn't have been like that much of an issue, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you coming up and talking about it now makes it feel as though like it wasn't as good as like it could have been, which is a low-key slap in the face, just a low-key backhand to the women's division, you know, before Saraya and Toni Storm showed up. I know that he's, you know, giving praise to everybody who's there and stuff like that, but I just feel as though that, you know, when it comes to the AEW women's division, Tony Khan definitely leaves a lot to be desired, and I feel like I'm not the only one who says, you know, there's a lot more that Tony Khan could definitely be doing, and I feel like, you know, the division as of right now, although great, okay, I feel like there's just a lot of women right now who are kind of just like lost in the shuffle and kind of just like, you know, wandering around, you know, not really having a lot going on and everything, and I don't know, man. I mean, it's a mixture of like Tony Khan and contracts and all that sort of stuff, so I can't really sit here and say whose fault it is specifically, and I don't really think it's anyone's like fault, really, to be honest with you. I just feel as though that, you know, the women's division, I feel like, is in need of a bit of not a huge like brush up, just a bit of a polish, you know what I mean, a little bit of a spit shine, you know, just to really like cement just where everybody is, and, you know, I feel like have a little bit more storylines going on other than, I don't know, something that has to do with like Britt Baker, you know, like I don't really think that I mean, listen, Britt Baker, absolutely fantastic, okay, she's a dentist, all right, if I need a root canal, I know who to call, but like, can we stop with the Britt Baker feuds? Can we like go to something else? I know that Jade Cargill's kind of got like this weird like I don't like you, and like she's, I don't know, it was like Velvet Sky or something, and like someone else in her group is like feuding with her, and I don't know where that's going. I'm listen, it's not over yet, so I can't really sit here and be like, oh, you know, so we just gotta wait and see. But all in all, I don't think that what the AEW Women's Division is horrible. I don't think it's that bad. It obviously needs improvement. And with Tony Khan coming out and being like, it's great, we got all these people, I was like, okay, all right, Tony, relax. You know, like, I feel like until it's universally agreed upon, right, by the IWC, that the women's division in AEW is okay. I don't really think that, you know, I don't know, because if you're Tony Khan, you kind of got to be doing that sort of stuff. So look, at the end of the day, man, it really boils down to just who you are and like what you like and everything. Because obviously, if you like go out into the world and like, do you like it? And someone's gonna be like, yeah, and you go to someone else and be like, no, you know. So honestly, it's really just up to preference. But listen, he's making promises, and here's to hoping, right, in 2023 that he lives up to them and he exceeds expectations. What do we talk about? Some jobber named Sasha Banks or whatever. She showed up at NJPW. No. Then again, historical moment, absolutely fantastic. Probably would have been a little bit more exciting if it was not telegraphed, but that's just me, man. Antonio Inoki's getting a movie made about him. Absolutely fantastic. I feel like I literally just said that, but it is though. Antonio Inoki's an absolute legend. Okay, transcends Japanese wrestling as a whole. He's absolutely fantastic. He's a wonderful performer, and absolutely incredible talent. Okay, and a legend in wrestling history, not just NJPW, not just WWE. Wrestling history is an absolute maniac, okay, on the sticks, all right? And I will hear absolutely, this is a Antonio Inoki appreciation channel, and I will hear no slander of any kind, all right, of the Chin Master, okay? We're not even going to talk about it. Tony Khan comments on the current state of the women's division. Again, I mean, listen, I feel like he has a tendency to be like, this is really good. It's like, okay, but what about like everybody else? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like he has a tendency to big up a lot of things and like inadvertently like push down other things. I don't really think that's obviously not what he's trying to do. All I'm saying is that I feel like him talking about the women's division now really shouldn't be a thing. It shouldn't be I don't know. I feel like that this shouldn't even be like a topic of like, you know, oh, the women's division, it's gonna get better. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just I feel like a lot of people agree with me when I say that, you know, the women's division could definitely be a lot better, and I feel like there could be a little bit more storylines that don't necessarily have to revolve around like the championship or like some type of relationship status with a dentist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like we could diversify just a little bit more. I'm not saying we need to have tag titles. I don't think that that's necessary, but, you know, just a little bit more, just a deeper pool, you know, for the women's division to, you know, like swim around in and everything. But that's just me, folks. All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully everybody has a wonderful tonight and a wonderful tomorrow. And as always, big hugs all around.